And there we have it. It is Sunday here today at the races. Keith and I are going to guide you through this 8-race card today here on Sunday. Let's go ahead and take a look at the track. The turf is good. We are on the turf today, and the track is nice and fast, Keith.
Good to be back on the turf after a little bit of a hiatus. Absolutely. Keep those fields sizes up a little bit, give some more betting opportunities. But, yeah, fast track, turf is good. Pretty nice day out right now, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it's gorgeous out.
Pretty good. So ready to get you going. A couple, not really real big prices yesterday. Started the day off with Fancy Princess at $15, but saw a couple good performances. I thought Noble Belief, the firster, and even the horse that was the runner-up, Too Many Kisses, Noble Belief for Damon and Sal Sinatra, got it done after a little bit early trouble, and Too Many Kisses marked down two, had to steady soon after the start worked out when it came on just to miss. But thought that was a pretty good race. Hashtag Lucky got a nice little assist with that race coming off the turf. And Remember Me out of there. And Viennese Waltz, the other Jerry Robb horse. Take a look. That's the half the cord maker. Down the road. That horse definitely. X-Man was into that one riding early, just didn't really want to respond. As soon as he kind of gathered himself, he finished up quite nicely the last 3/16 of a mile. I think Tab, that one definitely going a little bit longer.
I agree. Take a look at that gallop out as well. The gallop out was phenomenal with Viennese Waltz in that effort, in that maiden claiming effort yesterday. But let's go ahead to today. We have 8 races on the card here for Sunday that kicks off and starts off with the early pick 5 in that maiden claiming 20,000. Going a mile and 16th on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old, scratching the 5, 7, and 9. Keith, you and I both have the number 6, Hialeah Native, on top, just sitting on a couple good races ever since returning back to Laurel Park.
Yeah, he's stretched out, and he's taken to it here on the turf course at Laurel Park. It's an extra 16th of a mile today. Now, the key, I think, in this race, 2 back, he kind of was up there forcing that issue. He was on the lead, battling, alternating for the lead, kept on quite well. Langley Avenue is 3-horse for Brittany Russell. It's going to be a short price. Looks like the speed of the speed. You don't want to let that one get too far away. You might be able to relax and kind of get it done on the front end. And looking at Brittany Russell the last 2 years on the turf, maiden special weight, the maiden claiming is like 36%. 4 for 11, 8 for 11 in the money. But I think there might be a little chink in the armor in the 3. A little too short of a price for me. I like the effort Hialeah Native gave last time when taking the rating and finish up. Sooner or later, this guy's going to get the job done. Let's hope it's today.
I agree. I think that's going to – on top of that, Schoenthal and Carrasco, they've been teaming up well together. Just a bunch of them just knocking at the door. So we'll see how that goes down as Keith Fustel goes 6-3, 8-4 in that start of the early pick 5.
Did we have a touch of video here for Frog Prince or no?
Excuse me, we did actually. Yes.
Let's take a look at that.
Let's take a look at Frog Prince back in June on the 23rd in that last effort out.
Yeah, and this is our friend Suzanne Testenius, who does very well with the turf runners. Doesn't run a slew of runners, but man, hits at a high clip. And Frog Prince, this was first time blinkers. Kind of works up in a little bit of traffic. April swings out. And I think this one finishes up quite nicely. Sage Runner was a Trombetta horse. They did heated it in here. But look at this. Working outward here the last 16th of a mile. No issue the extra 16th today. Key was that blinkers on, I think, brought that improvement. If the things heat up a little bit, can contest it. Frog Prince is going to hold, I think, a bump up off that 5-2 right now. Hold a little bit of value in this first race.
That is a good price as Keith used to go 6-3-8-4. With Hialeah Native being his top selection. Race at number 2 kicks off the early pick 4 in this claiming 10,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2, going 6 furlongs. Scratch in the number 4 Barb's Pride. You have the number 1 Glorious Mahomes, Deal Duvico, Concepcion. Decent effort last time out in that now wears a 2. Takes the weight off today.
Yeah, third off of a break. And Damon, Ness and rolling right along. Damon, last 21 days, 6 for 9, 8 for 9 in the money with an ROI close to $7. Had that first to get the job done yesterday. But Glorious Mahomes, I think, racing back into shape, has won at the 6 furlongs, has speed directly to the outside in the 2 he rolls and the 3 Cavalry Command. I think those 2 will try to go ahead and establish early position. I like Axel just kind of maybe lurk just off of it. I think this horse has the ability to sit just off of it and make the move and keep on going. 1, 3, 5, 7. Cavalry Command back off of that turf, try a little bit of a fade, but Hey, he's running a little bit better on these dirt races. Two back just ran into an absolute killer, a buzzsaw in Street Hustle. We saw him come back with adversity and run well on the race.
As Keith Fusel goes 1-3-5-7, as mentioned in race number 2. Race number 3 starts the Rainbow Pick 6. We have a little bit of a carryover. Let's delve into that carryover, but a nice 3,000. Going to climb up by the time we get around to there. In race number 3, let me just shake down a ticket structure for you. 4 wide in these first couple of legs in this maiden special weight effort, and in the 4th leg in that allowance. 6 furlongs on the turf is kind of what makes that race a little bit interesting. Race number 5, I go 3 deep with the 3, 6, 7. The 6 being my top selection, the 3 being your top selection, Keith. Tap and Glow, we'll get to that in a bit. But then also race number 6, I take a chance on Huntington. We'll talk about this one as well. And then in race number 7 and number 8, to wrap up this weekend of racing, I double down with the 1, the 6, and the 1 and the 2 for a $34.80 ticket, Keith. And let's go ahead and dive in to that first leg in this maiden special weight. 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds makes things interesting. Scratch the number 2, Ami King. And let's take a look at your top selection. Let's talk about it really quick. A first-time starter in the Shug McGahee barn on the outside, and code name gets Forest Boyce, of course, on.
Yeah, well, we know the trainer and jockey combo. I repeat it time and time again. They've been deadly over the last several years in Maryland. McGahee brings this one in by Noble Mission, only about a 5 or 6%er with the first-time starters, and then going 7/8 of a mile first time out. This isn't the greatest stat here for Shug. 3 for 25 at 7/8 first time out on the main track the last couple of years, Callie. But you've got a mare that won on debut. You got a second dam, won on debut, 5 for 16, a grade 3 stakes winner. And the works are just solid. You see lots of halves. You assume this horse has got the bottom, the conditioning in it. We'll see. They decide to go here. I'll take a shot because everybody else I'm looking at the page, the form doesn't blow me away. Now, they haven't had a ton of experience either, but I like the precocity in the breeding here for the 8 code name. You've got Code of Honor in that family as well here for Farish. So I take that one on top. That's Mr. Mo, your top selection. I'll let you talk about him for Jerry Robb.
First of all, let's instead of talking, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this effort too. Back over, going the 5.5 at Delaware, just taking it to the lead and trying to go in. Trying to go in between horses as we saw earlier. But right now, you have these Jerry Robb first-time efforts, but what I like is it's not just this race, but what was done after and what we returned to. So this is a little bit in between horses. It had to grind it, had to really work for it. It was a good first-time effort. It was a good experience in that first-time effort. So then they try the turf. But what I like is that obviously they're bringing this guy back to the dirt for a good reason. The 7 furlongs is not quite a concern because taking a look at that gallop out was just fine. And then on top of that, Jerry Robb 5 for 13 as of lately from turf to dirt, 38%. And you have this one also third off of the layoff, also nearing the 30s, high 20s in that statistic range for Jerry Robb. But this one, I think the distance really is going to suit well. I also like that work prior. I like the work prior to that Delaware run on the turf. And on top of that, it was a soft turf. So we returned back to a fast track today. There's just a whole new dynamic setup that I think this one is just going to appreciate so much more.
Yeah, turf to dirt's always been a good angle. With the maidens, been fine. Smaller sample. And talking about the family, the extra ground, 5 winning siblings. You see the Uncle Mo. Extra ground shouldn't be a problem. With the scratch of Omni King. That's Mr. Mo. I think definitely if this 8 horse doesn't just kind of show that speed right out of the gate, that's Mr. Mo might be the one to catch in here. So I'm definitely going to be using that one as well. And I think the 6, Energy Efficient, a horse that I thought might take to the turf, had a little trouble last time and never picked up his feet, comes back to the dirt, the blinkers going on. This horse visually has looked good to me on the racetrack. The light bulb's going to go clicking on soon. I think this one has got the stride, the action I think is going to take to the 7/8.
I agree. Key race also is going to be back on the 13th of October on the off footing, but I think again sets up well here for today. Race number 4, as Keith Fusel goes 8-4-6-1 in the third, is an allowance going 6 furlongs on the turf. Keith, let's just have a chat about Chiringo. George Weaver, Fergal Lynch returns, but you have, of course, a Keith Fusel stat.
Yeah, Weaver. I try to beat him a lot here. And, it's been a while since he's won a race on the turf in Maryland when I went back and looked. It might be 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. But last 3 years, this little stat jumped out at me. 6 for 12, 50%, 7 for 12 on the money. The turf sprinters going off a 61 to 180-day layoff. That ROI is 731. That's my lottery number. Go ahead and play that tonight if you like.
All right.
It's been close.
Yes.
It's also the Hammers number, so that's a good one. But, and I think the little freshening, the recent work suggests he's kind of on his game right now. He's ready to roll. He scratched out of the My Frenchman who was taken off the turf up at Monmouth. It's that two-back try is the one I'm interested in. A little trouble early at Keeneland back in April, rallied into it. Horses have come out of there to run big. They ran big numbers. I still think he has to improve a little bit, but you're going to go back on the Lasix. It's the first time Lasix sprinting on the turf. He can get position in here. I don't think there's anybody going to be blazing away. A good break, and Fergal gets him in touch. I think a horse that's going to hold a little bit of value. His last couple races not great. Damon's horse, Tauber, the 7. We've got video of this one. 3-1 last time in that first level allowance over this turf course. There it is. A little bit of a slow break, and there's a little bit of a steady, and just gave himself a little too much to do, and he just really didn't get focused after that. A little bit of a belated rally, Callie, through the last, eighth of a mile. Never really threatened, but out of that race, when I get to heaven, came out of there to win down at Colonial Downs. So I think Tauber on a course that he's shown to really like. 8 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, an outer draw, and some speed to show in the past. I think just a break. He's got to come out, and he'll go. Prince Pear, your top selection. I've always liked this horse for Suzanne Statenius. Again, has run well over this turf course. Will probably find himself in range early. He's going to be fairly close, I think, considering this field and breaking the pace down.
And there we have it. Keith Fusel goes 1-7-3-8 with Chiringo. George Weaver as his top selection. On the inside, a great stat, ROI of $7.31 for his top selection in race number 4. And let's see what else Keith Fusel has for us in this last half of the card for Sunday after this commercial.
And they're off.
And welcome back. And as I mentioned, Keith does have more for us. He goes with a late pick 4 ticket starting here in race number 5. Keith, take it away.
Switching things up a little bit.
Good.
$27. I don't see a long line of huge prices today. I didn't really come up with one solid horse, like a stone cold single. And my early pick 4 is just going to cost too much, in my opinion. So 3-6-7 to get you started here in race number 5. If you could add Moco Gold, maybe there's a couple of them. Big Ambition. There's another one, a couple other ones you can add in here. Even Sapphire Beauty jumped up and ran huge last time with a wide trip. That was really big. So I'm going to trim it. 3-6-7. 1-6-8 in race number 6. We're 3 deep in there. Huntington, Cripple Creek. Good Night Now will be the blow-up horse for Milan Milosevic at 12-1 morning line. Race 7. Double Crown, all 3s. Big scratch. The 2 Our Nation on Parade is scratched out of race number 7. Leaves us with a field of 5 salty, 3 other than allowance. So I go 2 deep in there. All 3s is really taken to the routes. And then race 8, 2-3-7. Water Witch, Sweet Talia, and Hot Choice, both big prices on your morning line. There's your ticket, $27.
And we'll hear more about a couple of those value plays that Keith Fusel gives us in the coming chats about the upcoming races. But let's dive into that first leg of the late pick 4, this claiming $16,000 for the girls 3 and up, which have never won 6 furlongs on the dirt. No scratches in this one. Keith, you land on Tap and Glow for Ricky Stillman, Axel Concepcion. A decent effort last time out at this level.
It's interesting. We're around kind of the same horses here. I thought this race was kind of tough. You got a horse like the first one that jumps out to me is Moco Gold. You've got a 5-time winner and even Cocktail Dream in the 3 in life condition. So a little bit of a drop here off that 2 tries. Getting a little weary late. I don't know. Moco Gold, we'll see if she can kind of recapture that form today. She's going to be involved early, no doubt about it. But I think when you look at Tap and Glow's race in Chem Major on July the 1st, Tap and Glow, I think, might have run just a hair better. Ken Major was very good, was dead game, but the flow wasn't extremely fast, 23 and 3, 47 and change. Got aiming a little bit of flatten out. I think she's going to find herself a little bit further back today. The pace is going to be contested. I think she's going to bring that run to get over the top at the 6 furlongs. She's 2 for 8 at this distance. And Ken Major right back. I'm going to take those two. If you like one, you got to like the other.
Right. Exactly. And then underneath, a way to return, Damon Vico Barbosa returning back to the dirt. Going to be a big key factor here.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I mean, very short yesterday if it stays in that race. Now she comes back to the field. It's going to be tough. She's going to have to be on her game. I mean, you go back to her dirt tries, they kind of they dominate this field. When you really break it down, when she's close to her best. Where is she right now? A little bit of a drop off the 2 return tries. The turf kind of probably built her up a little bit. We'll see if she can spy the speed to her inside and go by and sustain. That's going to be the big guess for me. I go 3, 6, 7, 5 in here. Moko Gold especially will be involved. Bomb horse underneath tries and supers. Sapphire Beauty, that race kind of came out of nowhere. Hung wide early after breaking a little bit awkwardly, a little bobble. And she had plenty left in the tank. I think it went back, read the short comment, eager through the wire. So this is another one. Frock at a big, big price. It could blow things up on the bottom side.
And we'll see what happens there in race number 5. Race number 6, of course, starts and begins and ends at that jackpot super high 5. We have a little bit of a carryover. A nice $3,715 carryover. That should be up to $4,000 by the time race number 6 rolls around. And what a race. Good race to have this in, Keith. Maiden claiming 20,000, a mile and 16th on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. You and I both land on Cripple Creek. Here in the 6th. A big scratch in number 5 with Bubba Chrome, but Cripple Creek, Mike Matz, Javian Toledo coming back first off of the layoff. Was entered on Delaware, but was a trainer scratch that day on June 21st.
Okay, I did not see that. But, yeah, and for the 20, you worry about that. Maiden special weight, the maiden claim has been a good angle. When horses run a decent number or 2 and you're breaking down the race, I've always got to project a little bit of improvement. That along with the first Lasix, looking at the company lines in that race at Laurel. Prowling Tiger is a recent allowance winner at Delaware. I think Cripple Creek, they're like, okay, he may not be that great. Let's get him a win. Let's get him in a spot. Might be the shot to get it done first off the break, and we know this barn can get him ready to roll first after a long, long layoff. Huntington, I thought ran really, really good last time. We want to watch that video?
We do.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Rob Atras, this was first time on the turf. Certainly the breeding was there. The Uncle Mo's can pretty much run on anything, go sapper on the bottom side. And he just never, ever really caught a breather in this race, Callie. And he's trying to edge away here mid-stretch. Dynamass is going to come from the clouds. Look at this. He shakes free. He's home, right? This is just brutal when you're the owner, the trainer, even the jock, and you get just nailed right here at the wire. Dynamass came back and just missed an allowance at Colonial. It might have been a restricted race, but still against an okay field. Some of those horses behind him had run previously good numbers. So Huntington, again, gets put in position early with Barbosa and will be tough to get by, I think, that final eighth of a mile.
I agree. As Keith Fustel goes 6-8-1-9, talk a touch
eight.
About, the Milan Milosevic, Carlos Lopez, your bomb price of this race, 12-1 morning line odds.
Well, you come up with it, too, somehow.
I do, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I see you. I see you. Milan, I mean, it's been a lower winner percentage trying to get, another win here. But the only trial of the turf, sandwiched between 2 really poor tries, was very, very good.
Yes.
Works at this company. Works coming in, look okay. But, again, he's been capable. He doesn't run a ton of horses, but these horses off the longer breaks have run well. Looking at the flow, I think he's going to get a good setup here. Carlos Lopez, a rider that can get horses into position, into striking distance, and carry them. A couple scratches here shortens his field. I think he gets that stalking 2-3 wide trip and will make a move into it. Can he kind of keep going by Huntington, or can he, hold off a Cripple Creek? We're going to find out. But at the price he's going to go off at, I've got to use.
Too good not to use.
Yep.
Absolutely. As Keith Fustel and I both go 6-8-1-9 in race number 6 in that jackpot super high 5. That carryover that pool should be hitting 4,000 by the time that race just opens. So let's get to race number 7.
Okay.
This allowance optional claiming 55, a 1-turn mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. As mentioned earlier, big scratch in the number 2 Our Nation on Parade. Let's talk about your top selection. Let's take a look at all 3s from that effort back in early July last time out.
Yeah, we're going to look at the race July the 8th, and all 3s. I thought maybe he was the type when he was going a little bit longer, he might have needed the lead. Not so fast, right? Highway Bound was the first time, was it Kelly Breen, I believe?
Yeah.
Coming in from Jersey, had shown a lot of speed in the past. And, boy, Sheldon got this guy to relax beautifully, just off the pace, went on the attack, turning for home, was able to shake clear. And when he gets collared, he just keeps on going. I mean, really, really game to the wire. Yo, approving or stretching back out, just got the better of him. But you've got a scratch of our nation on parade today. Leaves him in the driver's seat, I think, today. On the front end, Sheldon will get him to relax. He's going to be tough to kind of get past if he gets any relaxed flow into the turn, around the turn. I think the one that's going to maybe move up into that striking distance early is going to be Double Crown with Barbosa.
There we have it, as Keith used to go 6-3, 1-5 in race number 7. Race number 8 is claiming $10,000 for the girls 3 and up, which have never won 3, going a one-turn mile on the dirt yet again. Keith, you have the number 7 Hot Choice, a nice little value play here for David Howard, Carlos Lopez at 8-1.
This race really gave me a headache. I was looking at it again this morning. I gotta reach for something, and I am going to reach here a little bit with Hot Choice. But you know what? He's kind of come off the break okay. His form was tailing off before the break on the turf races. They've improved since coming back. He's got a number to go back to on the dirt, or she does, and certainly she can handle the route of ground. I think she can drop in with Carlos, save a little ground. She doesn't have a ton of speed, but there's some questionable speed types in here with me that I think the pace will be contested once they hit the top of the stretch. So look for her to kind of sit back. She's not going to make that big rush of a run, but she's got that methodical way of moving that might get her over the top here late at a big price. Along with Sweet Talia, she's got a little bit more tactical speed in her. Chased the favorite last time. She's got a good race, a couple races back on her page. I think she sits that stalking trip and gets first run. And again, for Brandon McFarland, he can hit at a price. I think those are the two to kind of key around, especially if things are looking a little desperate. Pockets are a little bit of light, and you got to bail out, or you just don't go home because you're going to be locked out, and I've had that happen before.
Trying to beat the favorite. Keith used to go 7-3, 2-5 there in the last race of the day. Now let's dig in to a little bit of best bet value play action. Let's take a look at Keith's best bet. Let's go over that again. Tap and Glow for Ricky Silliman, Axel Concepcion in race number 5. Tap and Glow is the number 3.
Yeah, it was hard for me to come up with just one horse, but Ricky's horse been running pretty well.
Yep.
I liked the way she ran last time. I thought the pace was just a little sluggish for her, and the other horses up front, they just had a little bit too much left in the tank. Things get a little bit more heated today. Dropping in should save ground every step of the way before looking for that path from the quarter-mile home. I think Tap and Glow at 9-2 works for me, top and bottom the exacta.
And let's talk about your value play. You get a two for one, double the value in race. Just to wrap up this weekend of racing here, let's go with Sweet Talia for Brandon McFarland. Charlie Marquez gets the saddle today.
Well, both. Sweet Talia, you get the roll Hot Choice. It's these two horses in race number 8, the 3 and the 7. They're both 12-1 on the morning line. Let's hope we can get something close to double digits with them. Hot Choice has improved off the layoff. She's got a back number, as we talked about, to go on to. I think this one, she's gonna need a little bit of help up front because I think Sweet Talia, who gets the jump on her, might be able to make a move and open up a daylight advantage come mid-stretch at a big number. So let's key around those two. Use them top and bottom as I talked to. I key them in exacta boxes, top, bottom, in the box, however you want to do it. Talk to your teller, and that's where we get it done. I'm going to use a couple other horses in there because it's a spread, no doubt. I may, if they stay at 10-1, I might take the field with them.
You're going to be scratching your head about this one until the gates open for the last weekend, for the last race of the weekend. And we are going to wrap up everything over with, of course, as per usual, Dave Rodman for some more potential changes and scratches.
All right. Good luck, everybody.